Begin each day as if it were on purpose.
Sometimes when I speak to my business audiences, I ask the question, what is the purpose of a business? And almost invariably people shout back, to make a profit, to make money, to make a lot of money, to get rich. Well, that's not quite correct. The purpose of a business is actually to create and keep a customer. And if you look at a business, if you look inside it, you'll find that all successful businesses are focused on creating and keeping customers, marketing and sales, getting the customers, and then servicing the customers and holding on to them. A profit is the result of creating and keeping a customer in a cost-effective way. Therefore, the basic management functions are innovation and marketing, because only they are capable of creating and keeping customers, generating sales, revenues, and cash flow. The most important skill of the entrepreneur or the business person is the ability to market the product or service. An average product or service, intelligently and aggressively marketed, will run circles around a brilliant product or service with poor marketing behind it. Unfortunately, most entrepreneurs and business people have never been trained in marketing. But fortunately, marketing skills can be learned, and that's what we'll talk about in the next few minutes. Now, the key to marketing the product is this, marketing is the process of determining what is to be produced and sold. It requires analysis of the market, analysis of the competition, analysis of trends, customer service surveys, customer questionnaires, and so on, to find out what it is that people really want and will buy. On the other hand, selling is the process of determining how the product or service is to be sold once it has been determined by the marketing department. So the marketing department determines what, and the selling process determines how it's to be sold. Now, the key question in marketing is this, and I came to this after many, many years. I put it all together in a single paragraph. And here it is. What exactly is to be sold, and to whom is it going to be sold? Those are the first two questions. What is the product and who is the customer? The third part of it is, and by whom is it going to be sold? In other words, who's going to actually do the selling and get the money? And the next part of the question is, how is it going to be bought and paid for? In other words, what is the sales process? And how is the product or service going to be produced, delivered, and serviced? So let me repeat that one more time. This is the key question, and it's this, is what exactly is to be sold, and to whom is it going to be sold, and by whom is it going to be sold, and how is it going to be sold and paid for, and how is the product or service going to be produced, delivered, and serviced? You have to ask these questions over and over again, because our discovery is this: inaccurate answers to any one of these questions can lead to business failure. For example, you could have the question wrong, who is going to sell it? If you don't know who is going to sell it, or how is it going to be sold, or how is it going to be produced or delivered, or exactly to whom is it going to be sold and at what price? If you don't have the exact correct answers to these, what happens is you'll go off in the wrong track, and you can often lead to the failure of the business. But if all these questions are answered correctly, and they need to be revisited over and over again, you can make a very successful business. Well, here's a rule. The product or service must be well suited to the current market. It must be priced appropriately and aggressively marketed and sold. Let me repeat that. The product or service must be well suited to the current market. How can you tell? Because people want it and are buying it. It must be priced appropriately relative to competition and relative to what you've got contained in the product or service, and it must be aggressively marketed and sold. You have to always be thinking of ways to get more of your product or service to your customers in a competitive market. The first rule of marketing is that the customer is always right. The second rule, by the way, is when in doubt, refer back to the first rule. In our marketplace, the customer is everything. The customer is the central focus of all marketing efforts, all business efforts. You can always tell a good company because their They are obsessed with customer service. They think about their customers, talk about their customers, discuss their customers. They think about their customers all the time. Well, unsuccessful products that are not selling must be either improved or removed from the market. Now remember this, 80% of all the products and services that will be in use 5 years from now have not been invented. 80% of the products in common use today will no longer be in the market 5 years from now. Companies spend fortunes to bring products and services to the market, but what happens is about 80% of them fail every year. So if a product is not working, you either have to improve it, revise it, reorganize it, or remove it from the market and sell something else. Remember, it is not what a company produces, but what customers want that determines marketing demand. It's not from the inside. As Peter Drucker says, there are no profits inside a business. All profits come from creating and keeping customers and satisfying those customers so that they buy more and talk to their friends about what you sell. Now, a new product or service must be better in at least 3 ways to break into the market. First of all, the product must be clearly superior in some way. The product has to be better than any other product out there in some way. For example, the product can be cheaper, the same level of quality at a lower price. This is one of the reasons why products from Asia are becoming so popular. They're as high a quality as anything else that has been offered, especially from Europe or other manufacturers, but they're much cheaper because of their cost of production and labor. Or the product can be easier to use. Making a product so it's much easier to use, much more convenient, can make it more valuable and help you break into the market. The product can be more convenient to buy. By making the product easier to acquire, you can make your product attractive enough to break into the market. For example, making your product available like Amazon, perfect example. If you want to buy a book, you can go to Amazon. It's delivered to your house in 3 days. You never have to leave your home. You can see a mention of a book or hear about a book. You can buy it with 2 clicks, which is a critical thing. Click onto Amazon and 1-click buying. So they made it so easy to buy millions of products that they've been able to create a billion-dollar business. Another way is the product can be more attractive. It could just be more beautiful to use. Luggage, cosmetics, fashion, cars, home, furniture. Just if it's more beautiful to use, that can help you to break into the market. The product can offer additional features or benefits. For instance, a very simple camera can be upgraded and improved, so now you can get a digital camera that can shoot movies, that can take photographs, that can send them and put them onto the internet. You can get cell phones that can do remarkable things. With these additional features and benefits, they sell tens of billions of dollars worth each year in a market that did not even exist a few years ago. Another example is the product can be of a higher quality at the same price. Many manufacturers are finding ways to build quality into their products, keeping the price the same but selling vastly more of the product because people will pay more or buy more often a product or service that is higher quality. The product can satisfy the customer's deepest needs better. It can satisfy their emotional needs. So you have to look at all the different ways, and you must find at least 3 ways that your product or service is superior if you want to break into a competitive market. Now, there are 4 keys to strategic marketing. These have not changed in all of history, and you need to keep coming back to them over and over again. The first is specialization. In specialization, the company specializes in providing a clear benefit to a particular customer. Only huge companies can offer a lot of different products and services. But companies, small and medium-sized companies, have to specialize. They have to specialize so that when people think about your company, they think about your area of specialization. I'll give you an example. There are some restaurant chains that specialize in steak. When you think of their name, you think of steak. Some specialize in seafood. When you think of the name of that restaurant, you think about seafood. It doesn't mean that they don't offer other dishes, but they specialize in a particular highly popular dish. Now, there's several ways you can specialize. You can specialize in a particular market. For example, you can specialize in the California market. You can specialize in the homeowners market. You can specialize in the doctor's market. I had a very good client once that specialized in law offices. All they did was sell to law offices, and they eventually built the largest company in the country, a billion-dollar business selling products and services just to law offices. Right? A second way that you can specialize is you can specialize providing a particular benefit. Many insurance companies do this. HMOs do this. It can be a medical service of some kind, but it's a specific benefit that you specialize in, and then that's all that you do. And you don't digress from your area of specialization. Sometimes your company can specialize in providing a particular service. For example, there are companies that do carpet cleaning, window cleaning, drape cleaning. They specialize just in that service, and they concentrate on getting better and better in a specific area. Some companies specialize in cleaning and detailing cars. Other companies specialize in interior renovations. But they don't try to be all things to all people. They specialize in a particular service. Another area that you can specialize in is in a particular technology. Microsoft, for example, specializes in personal computer technology. Intel specializes in chips, in technology. So you can specialize in a particular technology, and that determines your whole business. Sometimes the company can specialize in servicing a specific type of customer. Some people service teenagers and focus on teenagers. Some focus on senior citizens. Some focus on doctors. Some focus on lawyers. So you can take a specific type of customer and specialize in that customer. And finally, you can specialize in a particular location or area. Many companies will decide to specialize just in a small community. They will focus just on becoming the very best known for their specialty in that particular location or area. What are your areas of specialization? How would your customers and colleagues describe you in terms of what area do you specialize in your business? Now, the second part of marketing, which is my favorite part, is differentiation. There's a book by Reese and Trout called Differentiate or Die. And what it basically says is that all marketing is differentiating yourself from your competitors. It is the key to success in business. It means you have to set yourself aside and apart in a special way from everyone else who competes with you in your business. We talk about this over and over again. It's called your competitive advantage. And the question is, what is your competitive advantage? What do you have in your business that makes your offerings superior to any of your competitors? What is your competitive advantage today? What will your competitive advantage be tomorrow, the way market trends are going? What should your competitive advantage be if you wanted to be the best in your business? What could your competitive advantage be if you were to upgrade the quality of your products or services? But the rule is, if you don't have competitive advantage, you've got to develop one. If you can't develop one and be superior to your competitors, you should abandon the market and get into the area where you can be excellent. And this brings us to the second part of differentiation, is your area of excellence. You have to be excellent, superior to your competition in one or more ways, and you must be crystal clear what they are. Everybody in your company must know what they are, and you must constantly strive to maintain your lead in that area of excellence. That is the key to selling more and to selling more at higher prices. And the final part of differentiation is called your unique selling proposition. This is the one feature or benefit or distinctive characteristic that makes your product or service clearly superior to your competitors. It's something that only you have, that no other competitor can offer, and customers are willing to buy and pay for that unique selling proposition. Question is, what is yours? What is your unique selling proposition? Now, the third part of marketing is called segmentation. Segmentation means focusing marketing and selling efforts on a specific type of customer. What kind of customer? Well, you identify the exact type of customer who can most benefit from the superior features of your product or service in your area of specialization. This becomes what is called your target market. These are the prospects that you focus all of your attention on. Identify the precise location of your ideal customers. Where are they? Geographically, where are they in businesses? Where are they economically? Where are they in their careers? Second of all, you identify the ideal method of sale to those customers. Sometimes you find that your ideal customers prefer to buy by the internet, prefer to buy by direct sales, prefer to buy by coming to your establishment, prefer to buy by catalog. Figure out the very best way of selling to them, and then identify the ideal marketing channel. What is the way that you advertise, promote, get the message out to that market segment? All sales success today depends upon segmenting your market, your target market clearly, and then focusing your marketing efforts on convincing them that in your area of specialization, your area of differentiation is of greatest concern to them and is the real reason why they should buy from you now. Now, the fourth part of marketing is concentration. First of all, specialize, then differentiate, then segment, and then concentrate. Focus all your time, attention, and money on those customers, your ideal best customers. Remember the 80-20 rule. 20% of your prospects will turn into 80% of your sales. 20% of your customers will buy 80% of your products. 20% of your customers will count for 80% of your profits. 20% of your customers will account for 80% of your referrals, and so on. Your job is to keep thinking who are or who could be your top 20% of prospects and customers. Once you've determined who they are, concentrate your best people and resources on selling your most profitable products and services to your best customers. One of the key questions in marketing today is, who are my most profitable customers? And how could you organize and reorganize your activities so you're selling more and more of your best products and services to your best and most profitable customers? All advertising and promotion must be focused and concentrated on the customers that can make the greatest contribution to your business. You know, they say there's two types of customers. They're the ones that know you, like you, have bought from you in the past, and will buy from you again if you ask them. And then there are those who have never heard of you before. And what is it that most companies do? Is they advertise and promote to customers who have never heard of them before, rather than concentrating on their very best potential customers of today and tomorrow. Now, the ability of the entrepreneur, your ability to continually innovate and create better, faster, cheaper ways to service your customers is essential. Remember, continuous and never-ending improvement. Always looking for better ways. So, continually seek out or develop new products and services for your highest profit customers. Listen to their questions, especially listen to your customers' complaints. Do you guys offer this? Why don't you offer that? I wish somebody offered this. Very often, the very best ideas for new products and services will come from listening to your best customers. Continually seek to improve your existing products and services. Never become complacent. Always be looking for ways to make them better. Like cars try to make every model year superior to the previous model year. Every year, your products or services should be superior to what you offered last year. And finally, continually seek out better ways to market, sell, promote, and distribute. Never become complacent with your ways of doing it. Now, you need to continually identify customers who are not yet being served by you. Here's one of the greatest discoveries in marketing. Your non-customer is your biggest potential market. No matter how many people are using a product or service, the number of people who are not using it are usually greater than all of those put together. So, keep thinking, who are my non-customers and why aren't they buying from you? Ask yourself, what additional customers exist for your products and services today? Where are there additional customers who could really benefit from what you sell who are not currently using it? Ask, what additional products and services could you develop for your existing customers? Remember, innovation and entrepreneurship, finding new products and services, it must be a continual and ongoing part of your business. And finally, could you improve your existing products and services in some way? How could you make them better so that they will be more attractive to more of your current customers and more of your prospective customers? To wrap up, marketing is the process of continually seeking out new and better ways to create and keep customers. Profitability in your business is the result of finding and serving customers with more and more of what they want. Your ability to do this is the key to your success. This is a very important lesson. Let's start off by saying the purpose of a business is to create a customer. All sales, revenues, profits, and growth are the result of creating enough customers in a cost-effective way. All marketing, advertising, and promotion of every kind is aimed at buying customers at a lower cost than the profits they generate when they buy from you. You are in the business of buying customers. Every bit of advertising and promotion you put out is an attempt to buy customers at a profit. Your goal is to acquire customers, to generate leads, and then convert those leads into customers who buy from you, buy again, and tell their friends. That's the central focus of your business. In its simplest terms, every business is in the business of customer acquisition. Your main goal, your central purpose, is to buy as many customers as you can, as fast as you can. Now, marketing and sales are different in a special way. Marketing includes the entire process of lead generation, starting from new product development and continuing through pricing, promotion, advertising, positioning, and packaging. The purpose of marketing ultimately is to make selling unnecessary. If your marketing efforts are good enough, customers will just walk in, dial up, or buy in some other way. Think of McDonald's, for example. People just walk in and buy. They don't have to be sold because all the marketing, the promotion has brought them in. But unfortunately, it seldom happens that people just walk in and buy. Ultimately, somebody has to sell them something. So selling is the process of converting sales leads or prospects into paying customers. You know, you may have a business where 1 out of 10 people who responds to your advertising buys. I worked with a large multinational corporation. For every 100 prospects, 4 of them actually bought. For 100 prospects who came into their business, only 4 bought. I showed them how to increase that from 4 to 5, and it added $100 million to their bottom line. It increased from 4 to 5, that's an increase of 25%. They were already a multi-billion-dollar company. By increasing from 4% to 5%, they increased their bottom line profits by $100 million. The company was selling for about 25 times earning in the stock market, which means that those additional profits translated into $2.5 billion in additional market value on the stock market for 1% increase in the 100 people that came in to look. So converting leads into customers is a really important business. Your job is to convert leads from the very first customer contact through to the satisfactory delivery of the product or service. This is why selling skills are essential to successful businesses. And it's absolutely amazing how many people start a business and they say, well, I'll just hire some salespeople. I'll just get some salespeople. I'll just hire somebody. I'll have her or him sell. No. The heartbeat of a business is the ability to sell once you've attracted the leads. And we'll talk about how to attract leads in a minute, but we have companies, one of my companies, we have an 80% conversion rate. It is 80% of people who walk in buy. I work with other businesses where the conversion rate is 90%, in some places, not my business, where the conversion rate is 10%. Sometimes the conversion rate is even lower. The conversion rate is really important. So you have to focus intensely on lead generation, on attracting prospects who can and will buy within a reasonable period of time, and ideally, you want customers who will buy immediately. There are many ways to generate sales leads, to get people to pay attention and approach you for the first time. First of all, you can place ads in newspapers, magazines, or other publications. This is one of the most common ways of advertising. But when you do, here are the key things to remember. Your ad must be simple, clear, and easy to understand. One of the things I've learned over my business career is the value of imagining a 10-year-old child. And you must write your ad, or design your ad, so that a 10-year-old child can look at your ad and is so clear about what it is that you're selling and why they should respond that they can tell and convince a second 10-year-old child to respond to your advertising. Your advertising should never be, well, it's supposed to mean, or what we're trying to say, or what we're trying to get across. No, it must be so clear a child can understand it. Please, it's very important. So, the second part of your ad, your headline, should offer the most important benefit that your customer wants to enjoy already by buying your products. 25% to 35% of every written ad should be the headline. And the headline should appeal to an existing need, pain, want, desire, hurt that the customer already has. For example, sometimes when you're driving through the countryside, you'll see a huge billboard and it'll have a big sign that'll say, "Hungry?" ? You know, Martha's Restaurant 2 miles ahead. Because what they're doing is they're trying to appeal to a major need that already exists. One of the most successful print ads in the world is by Preparation H. It's an ad that has a huge word that says hemorrhoids, ? And then it says, if you have scratching and itching or pain and itching, get Preparation H, it'll take it away instantly. It made Preparation H the most successful hemorrhoid treatment in the history of the world because they knew that the primary headline was aimed right at their ideal customer, the person who most wanted their product and service now. A second thing about your ad, another thing is your ad must tell specifically what you offer, the specific results or benefits the customer will receive, and why your offer is superior to any other competitive product that's available. In other words, they have to have a reason to come to you rather than someone else. You don't want a sign that says hungry, the person says, geez, I'm hungry, and then a whole bunch of other restaurants that they can go to. There's got to be a reason. Martha's Genuine Home Cooking, served piping hot. In other words, got to be a reason why people come to you. Finally, your ad must tell the customer exactly what action you want the reader to take immediately. In other words, you say, do this now, call now, come in, pick up the phone this minute, purchase it today. In other words, don't say, here's a wonderful product that's really neat, and just leave it like that. When you look at ads, by the way, you'll find 50, 60, 70% of ads, many of them designed by very expensive agencies, just lay there on the table. They give no reason to buy. They're just kind of statements like, we sell nice cars. And that's basically all it is. But your ad has to pop. Your ad has to punch. And here's the only way that you can tell if your ad works. It causes immediate response. An advertisement that is good causes people to telephone or to dial up on the internet or to walk in the door immediately. If that is not happening, it means the ad is no good. The second way that you can attract leads, you can advertise on the radio. When you advertise on the radio, first you must capture the attention of the prospect immediately with a strong statement or question. Going out for dinner tonight? Come to Harry's restaurant, bring your spouse, and we'll give you a free bottle of wine. The most delicious food on the coast. You see that? Bang, bang, bang. Going out for dinner, you immediately appeal to people who are going out for dinner, who want a bottle of wine, going with their spouse, and delicious food. Something like that. This doesn't have to be artful. It just has to have a strong statement or question that connects instantly with a person driving along whose mind is on 1,000 different things. You must make it clear what your product or service will achieve, avoid, or preserve for the customer. You could have a testimonial. I just ate at Charlie's and it was the most beautiful dinner I've had in years. In other words, that's what you get if you come to Charlie's. We've now covered in a 30-second ad the first 15 seconds. That's why, by the way, many advertisers are now using 15-second ads because they find it doesn't really take that long to get across the critical message if you focus on the critical message. You must tell the customer exactly what action you want him to take immediately. In a radio ad, give your telephone number or address twice and end with a call for action. Our address is 1525 Main Street, and our phone number is 235-236-2487. That's 235-236-2587. Call now to reserve. In other words, always end with a call now. Come in now. Do this now. Don't ever let an ad just kind of die away. In every case, make it easy for your customer to buy. Make it easy for them to understand why they should buy. Many advertisers think tricky advertising works. No, straightforward, simple, honest advertising that gives people a reason to buy is what causes your phone to ring. You can advertise and generate leads by using direct mail. When you do, you must choose your mailing list carefully by clearly identifying the type of customer who will buy immediately. Ask yourself, who is my customer? Who are the people that buy today? Who have bought in the past? Who is my ideal customer? What do they do? Where do they work? What sort of jobs do they have? What kind of education? Where do they live? Where is their business? In other words, when you design your mailing list, you want to rifle in on exactly the kind of people who will read that and say, that's for me. I want that now. You must make your offer in a direct mailing clear, attractive, and desirable. Your letter or mailing should trigger the reaction, that's for me. I want that now. People should read it and say, honey, did you see what's in the mail? Now, I've said before you should ask a child to make sure a child understands, but you should also ask women. Women are the very best people of assessing advertising. You show it to a woman before you send it out and you say, honey, would you respond to this? Susan, if you received this in the mail, would you respond to it? If they don't read it and light up, they may be polite. If they don't light up, go back and rewrite it until someone says, I would respond to that. That is an interesting ad. I'm curious to know. If a woman doesn't like it and a child can't explain it, go back to the drawing boards. You must request in a direct mail advertisement that the reader take immediate action to enjoy a result or benefit. In other words, give them a reason. Call now, get 10% off. Call now, get a free gift. Call now while supplies are still available. Call now and let us get it out to you by the weekend. Always give a reason, a hooker, an exclamation point to get people to respond immediately. Now, in generating leads, you can use direct selling. Many companies depend solely on direct selling or direct selling in conjunction with other advertising. This is where you send out trained sales professionals to find prospects. We say to get customers from somewhere. If you're going to do this, your salespeople must be carefully selected for character, ability, and personality. You stop for a second. Character means that they're honest people. People will only buy from other people that they sense are honest. Ability means that they're skilled at selling. And personality means that they're nice people. Always send out people that you'd be happy to have dinner with or invite home for Sunday dinner with your family. Remember, the number one word to describe the best salespeople in every industry is he or she is a nice person. Now, your salespeople, if you're going to use salespeople, must be thoroughly trained in every step of your sales process. More than 70% of companies do no sales training at all. They do a little product training, and they think, well, that's the same, isn't it? No, it's not. Sales training is where people know how exactly what to say to get an appointment. They know exactly what to say to ask questions. They know exactly how to develop a customer and to learn what the customer needs. They're thoroughly trained in the face-to-face interaction process, not the product. An average company with an average product can sell $1 jillion worth if it has great salespeople. A super company with a super product can go broke if it doesn't have well-trained salespeople. Your salespeople must have clear sales goals for each week and each month. You sit down, agree, and give them a target. Remember, even the most motivated person can't hit a target that they can't see. Your salespeople must have clear activity goals. So in other words, you say, all right, this is your sales goal. You want to make this many sales. But in order to do that, if you're closing one person out of 5, then you'll have to speak to 5 people in order to get 1 sale. We expect you to get 1 sale per day, so that you must see 5 people per day in order to get 1 sale. So begin first thing in the morning and focus on seeing 5 people. These activity goals are prospecting, customer calls, presentations, closed sales for each day, for each week, for each month. If you have direct sales force, you must monitor and manage the activities of your salespeople on a regular basis. You can't just meet them once a week and say, how are things going? Every day, every day. When I've taken over companies that have sales forces, the very first thing I do is I have sales meetings every morning at 8 o'clock for 30 minutes, where we talk about what we're going to do that day, and sales meetings every evening at 5 to 5:30, where we review what happened. Morning and night, morning and night, morning and night, and wham, do people ever get wired. You can use the internet to contact selected names, but you cannot legally send out spam emails anymore. So the best way to market via the internet is by creating what are called strategic alliances with companies that have large databases of names. Sometimes you can go to them and say, look, you have names of people that typically buy our product. Let's do a deal, and we will give you a percentage, a commission, a royalty, a profit share of everybody from your database who buys from us. We do this, by the way, on an average of once a week. We sell millions of dollars of products of our own and those of others by doing strategic alliances. They then sell our products on their list, on their internet site, onto their list. We sell their products to ours. Everybody benefits. You can send regular special offers to the names of customers and prospects on your own lists. One of the most important things you do when you start into business is you track everybody's address and email address and contact them once a week. And if you have a special, let them know. One of the best companies that I know, Nordstrom's, for example, has what is called a pre-sale special. They say, we have a special sale on these highly desirable products, and because you are our inner circle of customers, for 3 days you can come in before we put the products out to the public and take your pick. My wife loves these because they come to her on a regular basis with special offers for their customers. How could you do that for your own lists? Another way to do internet marketing is you can do affiliate marketing with other companies that sell different products, non-competing products, to the same kind of customers that you do. For example, we have more than 600 affiliates that we market with on the internet. These companies all have their own databases and their own customers, and they all sell non-competing products. So what we do is we say, if you send us a customer, we'll give you a commission. We'll give you a percentage of the profits. So you have 600 companies nationwide that are sending us customers as affiliates on a regular basis. And you can do this as well. Now, a sixth way that you can generate leads is you can do what are called postcard mailings. And this is a new way of mailing. It's a direct mail way that we find very effective. Oversized postcards, 5 by 8 inches in full color, will often trigger excellent response rates, even better than letters packed with information. Because often a direct mail letter, unfortunately, just gets thrown away unopened. But a postcard always gets looked at. People look at the postcard, especially if it's attractive, they flip it over, they look at the other side, and if it has an offer on there, they'll often just pick up the phone or respond. On every postcard, you have to offer a specific product or service, or even a free offer, but it has to be clear. A person has to glance at the photograph and know instantly, like a child, what you're selling. Ask the receiver who receives the postcard to take an immediate action. I'm absolutely amazed at the number of people who send postcards, absolutely beautiful postcards, and there is the product, and it just lays there like a person who's unconscious. It doesn't say call. It gives a phone number if you're interested, if you ever feel like it, if you ever get around to it. It gives no reason to respond. Now, I've read the whole darn postcard because it's attractive, and there's no incentive to pick up the phone. Don't let that happen to you. Seventh way that you can generate leads is you can advertise on television. This is the most expensive, but it's the best way to reach a large audience. If you're going to advertise on television, spend 20% to 50% of your whole budget producing the ad in the first place. It's amazing how many people will run a cheap ad to sell an expensive product. Remember, the ad is everything. A good ad will knock people's eyes out and cause your phone to fall off the hook. But a poor ad, even if it's a great product, nobody will respond to it. When you use television, remember this, and I learned this so many years ago, is television is not radio in motion. Television is very different. You use television to show pictures of your product or service solution in action. Remember, a visual impact is vastly greater than an auditory impact. So show people what the solution looks like. If you're advertising Charlie's Restaurant, show people in the restaurant laughing, tinkling glasses, happy, music in the background. Come to Charlie's for a beautiful evening out. That's what really gets people's attention, rather than just a person standing there and saying, come to Charlie's, I'm Charlie, Charlie's Restaurant is good. Television is not made for talking heads. Television is made to show the product in action. Make it clear what you want your prospective customer to do immediately. Always end it with a call to action. Sometimes they'll say, well, what you want to do is what is called institutional advertising. You know, let people know that you're out there. Let people know that you offer this product or service, and they'll find their way to your door. No, people need to be told. Remember, people are busy. People need to be told what to do. Now, here's a rule. All advertising is risky. Most ads and sales efforts do not work initially. Some don't work at all. 4 out of 5, 9 out of 10 advertising attempts that you make won't work. They won't draw. I've mentioned in an earlier session that we did an internet offer and we got 130 people who responded. We pulled it back and said, well, there's something wrong here. We completely revised the ad, simplified the offer completely, made it benefit-oriented, and ran the same ad to the same people 7 days later and got 1,400 responses. We increased our response rate by 1,000% by simply changing the ad a little bit. You've heard it said that fully half of all advertising dollars are wasted, but the problem is nobody knows which half it is. Sometimes it's 80 or 90% of advertising dollars. So here's your rules with regard to getting customers. Advertising is an investment with an expected rate of return or profit as a result. Advertising is not an expense where you spend the money and go on with the rest of your life, like a punishment or a penalty. If you advertise and you spend $1, you should expect to get $2 or $3 in profits as a return. If you don't think that you're going to get a profit, then don't spend the money. Only spend money to generate profits. Some advertising will give you $5 back for every dollar you spend. Some advertising will give you nothing. But you must be very hard-minded with regard to an advertising expenditure. The first thing you do in advertising is you determine your break-even point for your product or service. This is the amount of profit that you make from each sale. Let's say you make $10 profit after everything from a sale. Well, you then divide this number into the cost of the advertising to determine how many sales you will have to make to earn a profit with this advertising. For example, let's say you make $10 profit per sale and the advertisement you're looking at costs $1,000. Your break-even point would then be 100 units. You would divide $10 into 1,000 units. You'd have to sell 100 for this ad to pay off. You would only advertise in this form if you were confident that you could sell more than 100 units as a result of this advertising. Best is 200 units, so you make 100% profit on your advertising. 300, 400, 500 would be better. But if there's any doubt, you think, geez, there's no way we can sell 100 cars with this ad, or 100 whatever it is you sell, then don't advertise at all. If you are going to run an ad, only run it once. If it doesn't pay for itself, stop it immediately. The dumbest thing that we can do is run an ad that's not working. Do everything possible to reduce your risk in advertising and lead generation. Determine your break-even point in advance. How many sales will you have to get to justify the advertising? Test the advertising method on a small scale to find out if it works. If you're going to do direct mail, before you do 5,000 pieces, send out 100 pieces and see what happens. With newspapers or magazines, run one small ad and test the responses. Some years ago, by the way, we had an ad and we placed it in 6 magazines. We found and we tracked not only the number of responses, but the number of sales that we got from those responses. We found that one magazine outdrew all the others put together. So we canceled all our advertising in all the other publications and advertised in one. Our response rate was 500% for ads in this publication relative to the others. We dramatically lowered our cost of advertising without increasing or decreasing our response rate in our sales. With radio or television, you run the ad once or twice and measure the number of customers who call or visit. Remember, this is called direct response advertising. A person should see the ad and respond immediately. When advertisers sell you advertising, they'll say, oh, people will remember you and buy later. No, they won't, because the average person sees 4,000 advertisements a day of all kinds. If people don't respond immediately, they'll never think about you again. So you must be very, very hard-minded when it comes to advertising. Ask every customer or prospect who contacts you, how did you hear about us? And write it down. Write it down. We found in one of our businesses that 90% of our customers come one way. And of the other 9 different ways that we use to promote, counts for 10% of our customers. So what did we do? Is we beefed up the one way that attracts most of our customers and dramatically increased our business. You should know exactly, if someone were to say to you, where do you get your customers? You should say exactly to the percentage point and know exactly where they come from. The rules with regard to advertising are test, 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 measure, 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 and then test and measure again and again. Keep testing and measuring, because when you find a combination of advertising that generates leads and sales profitably every time, you can grow your sales and profitability without limit. If you can spend $1,000 and get $1,500 profit after the promotion from sales, that means you make $500 every time you advertise. Then you can spend $10,000 and make you $5,000. You can spend $50,000 and make $25,000. Once you have figured out a way to advertise, you can grow endlessly. But you have to test and measure over and over again to find the way. Once you've attracted a lead, an interested prospect, you must focus on converting that lead to a sale. Plan out every step of the sales process, every word from the first customer contact, live or on the phone. Have everyone learn and memorize your telephone or personal greeting and use it continually. For example, thank you for calling, how can I help you? Everybody says the same thing. Thank you for coming in, how can we help you? Some companies say, hello, it's a great day at ABC Company, how can I help you? And everybody says it every time they pick up the phone. Focus on the person. Focus on the relationship first. Don't talk about the product, talk about the person. For example, you can say, hi, where are you calling from? Oh, what's the weather like today in your city? Beautiful. Or, thank you for coming in. Did you have any trouble finding us? Always say something that connects with the person before you talk about the product. Focus on the needs of the prospect once you've built a bridge. Ask questions about what he wants and needs before making any attempt to sell. How can I help you? What is it that you're doing now? What is it that you're looking for? And so on. When you're clear about the customer's needs, show, tell, and teach the customer how and why your product is the best choice for him, all things considered. Be prepared to answer his questions on price, terms, features, and conditions. Make sure everybody knows how to conduct this process the same way over and over. Finally, be prepared to ask for a decision. Be prepared to close the sale at the end of the conversation. It's terrible to meet with a customer or have a customer walk in and walk away. So learn and practice several closing techniques. Ask for referrals and resales at every opportunity. Remember, the easiest customer to sell to, again, is a happy customer. The very best sources of referrals are satisfied customers. So now you've attracted the customer, you've sold the customer, now you have to get a repeat customer and a referral. Immediately after closing the sale and concluding the paperwork and payment, ask for referrals. For example, you could say, thank you for your order. By the way, would you happen to know anyone else who might need or want this as well? And just ask them, and they say, well, yeah, my brother, son, friend, uncle, a boss, and take out your pen and be ready to write down the prospect's name. Another great way to get referrals is to send a handwritten thank you note right after each sale. Thank you so much for buying from us. We'd love to see you. Please come and see us again. Always use a postage stamp to personalize a thank you note. Never put a thank you note through a machine. Always put a postage stamp. People will then feel that you've made a special effort to say thank you to them, and that goes a long way. Make a follow-up phone call to thank the new customer. Call up and say, Just wanted to tell you, thank you for buying from us. Did you happen to have any questions that I may not have covered? Customers are overwhelmed when people take the time to call them back afterwards. To develop referrals, respond quickly to every customer question or problem. Speed is considered one of the most wonderful things that a company can do for a person. Remember, to get referrals, superb customer service is essential. If you want to get resales and referrals, the better you treat your customers, the more they'll buy from you. So make the customer experience, excellent customer service, your competitive advantage. Resolve from now on that you're going to get the reputation for giving the best customer service in your business. Resolve to take better care of your customers than anyone else. Now, there are specific things you can do to increase your sales and profitability. Here they are. Number one, you can increase the number of leads you get by continually testing different ways to advertise and promote. Number two, you can increase the percentage of leads that you convert into sales by using good sales skills and techniques. Number three, you can increase the size of each sale by upselling and cross-selling or bundling additional products and services with the basic sale so that each sale is larger and, of course, more profitable. Number four, you can take such good care of your customers that he or she buys more often, comes back to you more frequently rather than going somewhere else. Number five is you can give such excellent customer service that your customers send you a steady stream of new customers. They actually become what are called customer advocates. They want their friends to buy from you because of the way you treat them. Remember, the customer is the most important person in any business. Your job is to attract and keep and create as many customers as possible. You should spend 50 to 80% of your time generating new business until you have more sales than you can handle. Never forget, you're in the business of customer acquisition at a lower price than the profit each customer contributes. The more skillful you become at buying profitable customers, the more successful and profitable your business will be.